Deep in the bowels of the app known as Clubhouse lays a cauldron of bitter, broken, and lonely women to spew their sick and twisted venomous misandrist rhetoric. And their target is black men, and their goal is to destroy black men in every manner. The most evil and vile of this group are known as the divestors.
Evening, wherever you are in the world. I just pinned the telegram to the top. So I just wanted to have a quick conversation about this video that I saw about dating white men. Is it empowering for black women? So I want to play this clip and then maybe have a conversation with y'all because I'm bored. Okay. And I haven't done a real exotical room in a minute. Besides the Niggly Bear of the Week and the Pygmisha of the Week room, which I do every Saturday. I won't be doing this Saturday because I'm going out of town. But yeah, come talk to me. So I'm gonna play this clip and give my commentary, and feel free to raise your hand and tell me what y'all think about it. So let me rewind this right now. Okay.
Great things about the internet is its ability to
Wait, hold up. Why is it starting off like that? Let me make sure the sound is right. Hold on, y'all. It sounds kind of low. Hold on. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I can't fucking hear. Oh, let me not drop my laptop. Okay. I hope I don't need to be using music mode for YouTube videos. Okay. Let's try this again.
one of the great things about the internet is its ability to expose many of those thoughts, beliefs, and ideas that have gone under the radar for years, maybe even decades. It puts it all on public display for the entire world to grapple with. In the age of anonymity, where people can go online and hide their face and their name and say whatever they want without fear of punishment, that gives people a boldness to speak from their heart, to speak what they really feel without fear of any retribution. Because of that component of the internet, we are now seeing a side of the human psychology and, quite frankly, a side of humanity that has always been there, but now we're faced to grapple with. We see the same thing in the Black community when there are people who reveal things, who confess things that, quite frankly, aren't new and have always been there, but have never fully been addressed because no one's been willing to call it out. And that is actually what I appreciate about this tweet that I want to share with you, right? It's a lovely Black woman who was just honest, about how she feels. And I want to read it to you. It says, I used to be afraid to admit this as a Black person, but not anymore. When I see a Black man date a white woman, it gives weak in my head because I start to question, can you handle a Black woman? But when I see a Black woman date a white man, it gives women's empowerment. Very simple, she didn't say a lot, but she reveals so much. Now, a couple of things I want to tease out here. Thing new, even if you look at the tweet, right? You look at the response here. I think it's Bean Men who reposted it. It says, are we surprised at this point? No, we're not. She's just saying, finally, what we have all known to be true for a very, 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 very long time. We saw Candace Owens give a similar explanation as to why she decided to date Muriel. Not because she just happened to fall in love with the guy, not just because maybe, it was just a proximity thing, whatever. It's like, oh no, because he had a higher IQ. Oh, because he had a better position, a better standing. He was of a better stock, right? Going back to this idea that marrying white is you leveling up. It is you improving yourself. It is you divesting out of a bad community to invest into that which is good and powerful and meaningful. These ideas are nothing new. We've seen this in the divestor community, right? I've seen this in internet clips. Y'all, we've all seen this before. This is, like I said, wash, rinse, repeat. while people want to act like this is some surprising new phenomenon that's only happened within the last couple of decades, the reality is this mindset has been in existence for hundreds of years. In the book The Dating Divide, the authors give different theories as to why it appears that minority women, including Black women, show a preference for white men. And one of the theories is that they do it as an assimilation tactic, right? This belief that and marrying white and marrying into the dominant class, they will essentially be able to receive perhaps, more access to resources, a better social standing, and ultimately a more comfortable life, right? So this is one of the theories that the dating divide gives as to why they consistently see minority women all have this preference for white men. And, going with that theory real quick, we have actual historical evidence to further reiterate this point. Going all the way back to slavery, we see that there is a history of African women and even Black women within the United States who slept with white men, and some of them who even married white men, as a way to quote unquote be empowered and level up and gain resources at the expense of their own people. Take, for example, slave owner Fenda Lawrence. She was an African woman who married a European man and created mixed mulatto kids who ended up being integral in slave trading. Fenda Lawrence was so popular as a slave owner, she actually went to the United States of America and toured the plantations in the United States of America as a free Black woman. She toured the plantations, and to my understanding, she actually lived there for some time, and she partnered with white men, and even had white men vouch for her on her behalf while she was living in a time of slavery in America, so that she herself would not get caught up. This is a Black woman, right, partnering with white men in the society to be empowered, to be protected, to gain the resources of the trade at that time, which happened to be Black bodies, right? To level up. So history shows us that there's always been a mindset of women who believe that in partnering with white men and partnering with white society, they can themselves level up, i.e. gain more resources, i.e. get more access to money, more access to funds, even if it is at the expense of their own people. This mindset has been here for a couple of hundreds of years. Professor Joseph E. Holloway, who's authored many books, professor and author Joseph E. Holloway also shows that about 70% of the Black slave owners in the United States of America, about 70% of them were light-skinned mixed mulatto women who had a Black mother and a white father. And what that means is that the majority of those Black people who, quote unquote, did own slaves inherited those slaves from their white slave owning fathers. Right. So again, I want to paint a picture to you that while we see these things continuing today, these viral tweets, the divestiture moment, the divestiture movement, the swirl movement, the level up movement, hypergamy, whatever, we kind of see all these ideas repackaged and remarketed. They are coming from the same root. Like I said, this mindset has been going on for hundreds of years. It just reinforces itself. It reinvents itself in these different movements. It tries to represent itself as something fresh and new, but it's not. And hear me, I don't think the nature of dating out means that you are necessarily trying to do something egregious to your own people. But what I am saying, to associate whiteness with empowerment as a Black woman is nothing new. These different movements that we see happening online in the social media space, and all these viral clips, and oh my gosh, he said this, he did this. If you know even just an ounce in history, you would understand that these things aren't new. But the reason that they can continue, and the reason Black women can go online and say these outlandish things, but think it's like new, or think it's empowering, or think it's like a new, never seen before phenomenon, is because there's a misunderstanding of history. And because there has not been a willingness to scrutinize Black women with the same level Black men have been scrutinized. In my opinion, I think we feel really comfortable as Black people looking at the transgressions of Black men, where they failed, where they didn't do A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. We feel very comfortable doing that and then holding them to task, right? Basically telling them all the things that they need to be do. And I'm not necessarily opposed to that. But that same level of scrutiny has not been given to Black women. The reason I believe Black women in particular can go online and saying things that, if the roles were reversed, would be considered cooning, would be considered self-hating, would be considered you being an Uncle Tom. The reason Black women can go online and say that and get little to no pushback is because there has not been the same level of scrutiny placed on Black women as there has been on Black men when it comes to having a cultural understanding. I believe if Black people, Black men and Black women, understood not only what they were saying, but understood the ramifications of what they were saying, and understood the history associated with interracial relationships, they would be less inclined to pedestalize it. Again, I'm not saying that it's wrong if you decide to date and marry out. But if you're a Black woman and you understand that the relationship between white men and Black women many times resulted in enslavement and the slavery of your people, if you understood that that was a direct link, right, that many of the slave traders were the results of Black African women who collaborated with European men to create a mulatto slave trading class. If you knew that relationship was integral to the slavery and that without it, slavery would not have been nearly as successful, you might be less inclined to pedestalize it. You might just see it as any other relationship. But unfortunately, because these women really don't know history, and then secondly, because this relationship and the connection between Black women and white men, what it meant historically, right? Some of the different issues that arose from it historically, and the way that it was used to terrorize their people historically, because that has never ever really been addressed. These things can continue. These things can continue. These ideas and these beliefs can remain without any pushback. And quite frankly, I think that's dangerous, because what she's saying, in my opinion, is not coming from a true place. It's coming from a place of narrative. It's coming from a place of miseducation. It's coming from a place of misunderstanding. It's not coming from a true place. Because now, when you're explaining Black and white, you're explaining it from a social political standpoint. You're not saying, oh, this is a loving man, that's a loving man. You're saying whiteness means this, Blackness means that. This is essentially what she's alluding to. So I just wanted to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, these ideas and concepts are nothing new. They have been around for hundreds of years. We just haven't always had a chance to catch these beliefs or capture these beliefs in real time. But now we do, and the great thing about it is, because we do, we can actually address it for what it is. Address it straight on. And I would encourage you, ladies, the next time you are tempted to try to pedestalize a relationship, especially in a racial relationship, remember how it started. Remember what that meant for you and your people. I'm not saying that you can't have an interracial relationship, but I want you to recognize that historically, those relationships were not always good. In fact, those relationships were actually integral and key to the enslavement of your ancestors. So let's not get ahead and let's not pedestalize something. Just take the relationship for what it is. And also, let's try to be consistent. Let's not give ourselves a pass and at the same time judge men for doing the same thing. I don't think that's fair. Anyways, guys, that's what I think. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for pulling up. Let me just reset the room really quick. Make sure that you ping at least 2 or 3 people to the room. Join the Telegram at the top. I'm doing a little space here because I'm a little bored before I go to Mexico tomorrow. So I wanted to have a little chit chat with y'all. Drop the links in the Telegrams and the Discord. So I just play a video that I found on YouTube that was posted actually 3 weeks ago by a lovely, beautiful young Black lady. I think her name is Shez Charday. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So I don't know if you guys know of her or not, but I thought this video was kind of interesting. It was about 12 minutes long. Of course, I probably have to replay it at some point for those who came late. But I just wanted to know, what do y'all think? Is dating white men empowering for Black women? It seems like in this video, she is saying that, Black women who date white men put them on a pedestal and pedestalize the relationship, and that the history of Black women and white men was to create mulattoes for the slave trade. So yeah, I know we got some people on the stage. Pink Pill, Dami, Cousin, Miss Boston, Elegant. So, do anybody want to just jump in there and tell me what y'all think?
Yes, I do. Um, London, this is okay. So first off, let me say this. No woman in 2024 should be pedestalizing any man at all. Okay. Um, you need to vet these men individually, and like I always say, choose the best man for the job. I think that it's dangerous to say, as I've heard some Black women say, a white man, any white man will do. So I'm just going to assume that everybody in this room can agree that we are not going to say any white man will do. However, this particular video is just a rehash of why Black women specifically being discouraged to interracially date and marry because of my ancestors, because of slavery, because your ancestors enslaved mine. Like, this is like, she basically gave a snippet of a point in history where she's saying, well, this is what happened 200 years ago. So keep that in perspective in 2024. That is a genetic fallacy. Um, if you guys know anything about logical fallacies, a genetic fallacy is, well, if your father was this or your father's father was this, then so are you. Nobody is doing this in 2024. There's nobody alive today that uh, snatched Black women and, you know, wanted to produce mulatto children for slavery. It's not happening. It's just another way of just propagandizing this and discourage Black women from dating out. Um, and she doesn't even go all the way back, because if she went all the way back, then she should have also mentioned that the tribesmen and chieftains in specific African countries brokered for both men and women to come over so they could make money for their tribes and get cowrie shells and whiskey and handkerchiefs in exchange for little little Black girls, young women, to be brokered into slavery. I don't understand why they never go back that far, because there are no clean hands in this slavery discussion. The white people did not come over to the continent of Africa and snatch Black people from the shores. They did that in Slavic countries. I bet you guys don't know that. Um, the reason why we were called slaves in the first place is because merchants first went to Slavic countries and literally snatched them from the shores. They didn't do that anymore because the Slavs have some balls. And so what the Slavs did was, when they saw those, they got them a couple times, but once those boats hit the shores, you know what the Slavs did? They attacked. They said, "Oh, we know what you're here for. Not today, Satan. Not today." That's not what happened on the African continent. They said, come today, Satan. Yes, today is your day, Satan. We have some lovely little girls and women lovely, strong men for you. If we could just have those cowrie shells and handkerchiefs and whiskey and shotguns, yeah, thank you very much. And here are the people. So they never go back that far, which makes these conversations disingenuous. That's my first thought after hearing this. I'll stay on mute to hear whatever people have to say.
Thank you, Pink Pill. Thank you so much. Yes, I definitely agree with you. They really don't go back very far at all. I mean, it was a 12-minute video. I mean, I kind of get the gist of what she was trying to say, but I agree with you with, it being propaganda, to deter us from dating out and things of that nature. And I don't know, towards the end, it got kind of weird where she was like, you could still date out, but you can't. We get judged, but you're not. I don't know. The end was kind of mixed up for me. But did anybody else want to say anything about what they heard? Or if y'all want me to play it back, put a 1 in the chat. Because I know it's a lot of new people in the room here. Put a
Yeah,
1
can
in
you
the
play it
Can you
back?
hear me, Lemon?
One.
chat. Hold on, cousin. Hold on. Go ahead, Miss Boston.
Real quick, because I'm not really in the greatest position to talk. Pink Pill, thank you so much for that. I will go ahead and add some more context to that, because that is one side of what happened to us, although none of us can actually say for certain how we got here. I will speak to what I know has happened since we've been here. For me personally, I cannot see in slavery or nor today dating a white man is a level up. My ancestors were forced to interact with white men in most circumstances as a survival tactic. From the medical apartheid that the white man has played a role in, from the rape, and I mean, come on, we know the whole spiel, right? For me, I feel oftentimes they're genetically predisposed to fetishizing Black women, right? I've heard it, I've experienced it, and for me, it's not a level up. What's a level up for me is to find a Black man of substance that shares the same values as me, right? That I can build with. That is a level up. A white man for me may mean access, but it is not a level up, because I feel that there are certain personal sacrifices I have to make in order to even be with him. And it's just not worth it for me. And I know that is not what you like to hear, London, but that is where I stand.
I'm
10
trolling
toes
you with the
down, sister.
emojis.
No, girl, I came up here to oppose you today. A level up for me is a good, clean Black brother on my side. And us, really just helping each other out and lifting each other up. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Miss Boston. Emily, I can't change it now. I still haven't figured out how to change it, but if y'all could just drop the links and share it with those closest to you on Clubhouse. So before I play the clip again, thank you, Miss Boston, for coming up with the opposition side. Because I know what's the phrase they say on here? We don't want an echo chamber. Uh, so you think that finding a Black man that you said, what did you say, on your level is a level up for you? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am. That's a level up for me.
Okay. Um, we can agree to disagree. Anybody else want to speak?
Well, I want to say this real quick. The reason why she's saying that that's a level up is because in our community, that's the ultimate golden chalice. That's the search for the sword and the stone, for Black women, is to find a quality Black man who is willing to commit to her, marry her, and form a family. And the reason why it's such a level up is because it inherently is rare. It is the exception to the rule. That's why it's such a level up. Like, that's the thing that they're not talking about. It's so elusive. It's like finding the freaking abominable snowman and the Loch Ness monster. So yeah, it's a level up because it is so rare. So I just want to say that, like, I bless you in your journey to find that the Loch Ness monster, but understand it's because it's so rare that you find it a level up.
The Loch Ness monster is crazy. I thought we was calling them the unicorns. What happened? The monster is crazy. Even the good Black man is still a monster, according to Pink Pill. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so anybody else on the stage want to comment on what they heard, or just the comments before I play it again, just so everybody can get a good sense of what's going on.
Yeah, I'll speak to whatever I heard. As an ex exotical myself, I actually understand the point of using a white woman to leverage yourself in the community. Um, but
You mean you're a man's article? You're not an exotical. That's for women.
oh man, exotical. Oh, okay. I didn't know y'all. Okay, as an ex man zodical, I used to think that, being with a white woman was would, elevate me in society, and people would look at me and be like, "Oh, he's dating a white woman. He's not a I won't use the N word, but y'all know what I mean. He's just like us. He's one of us." And in reality, it didn't turn out that way. And I can only speak to my experience, but
And what happened? What happened? What happened to your level up journey? What happened?
I'll tell you what happened, right? Is that you know, when it comes to dating uh other races, primarily those who are of a different or a higher financial status, and I think you feel like the token, you know what I mean? And as someone who's also went to a PWI, it's it's a cool feeling to know that, like, yeah, like I'm with a different type of I'm in a different type of crowd. But at the end of the day, like, for me, I wanna ride around playing Waka Flocka. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that with Chelsea. I mean,
Are you
with the
trolling, cousin? Or are you being
no, I'm
serious?
being dead ass. I'm being dead ass. I'm being dead
Because white
ass.
people buy black people music way more than black people do. You know that, right?
Right.
So why
Yes.
couldn't you play Waka Flocka with Chelsea? I'm confused.
I mean, I could play it, but she wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, she couldn't say all of the words, you know? She would have to ask me like, "Oh, what does that mean? What does this mean?" And I had to white splain. I mean, I guess it would be black splain. I had to black splain all the time. And it just became frustrating.
So
Um
now you want to come back to black women, but we don't want you, cousin. I mean, Miss Boston
Right.
might,
So
but
so wait. This is so funny. All right. So you said you wanted to drive around and listen to Waka Flocka and have the person who was sitting next to you relate to that degenerate music. And so you wanted to come back to black women because you feel like black women will accept the degenerate music that you like to listen to. Is that what
I
you're
don't
saying?
I don't think of it as degenerate music. I think of it it's just like Clubhouse. It's a place, well, I wouldn't say safe place, but it's a
He
place for
sound like a
us.
Pookie or a Ray Ray. And guess what? That
It's
good,
a
good, clean white woman can have your Pookie Ray Ray, Waka Flocka music listening ass. Because me, as a beautiful black queen, I don't want to listen to that nigger music either. Waka
Man,
Flocka flame.
what? Hey, but
You
hold,
at least could have said Kendrick Lamar or something. But Waka
man,
Flocka
I ain't
flame,
trying to
that's
you
nigga
hear a
turn you
bunch
music
tone
too.
of
down there in the Atlanta gutter just like that nigga.
Hey,
And I'm
Yeah, I
glad
don't want to hear that
Chelsea,
nigga
I'm
music
glad
either.
okay.
damn, I didn't mean to dox my
Hey,
ex-girlfriend,
hey,
but
hey, hey, Tom, I have something to say.
yeah,
Cause you
yeah,
know,
go
okay,
ahead.
and here we practice one niggly bear at a time.
at a time.
Thank you.
well,
So Niggly Bear, wait your turn.
as king of the Nickel Bells,
And
you
then
have
you
to
don't
let
get to
me see.
time out anything. You say, hello, beautiful black queens. Can I speak?
Do y'all say beautiful black cowboy? Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Marva, how y'all doing today? How you doing, London?
Blessed.
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right. See, I don't even jam rap music around, women. See, you gotta jam that R&B first off. Know what you doing. You gotta know what you're doing, player. Next.
So this is a Niggly Bear trying to get straight to the pussy. That's
No,
all he trying to
nah,
do.
nah, nah, nah.
All
Cause
you gonna
I don't.
do is hang out with him. Next thing you know, he got R. Kelly stepping in the name of love,
No, no,
and
no.
you feel. Okay, make up your mind.
No, 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 no. See, first off, I jam R&B every day, so that's just me, and I don't have to get straight to the
And
pussy.
you'll
First
still
off,
steal out of my purse. So what's next for you? You
no,
will still steal out of my
I have
purse.
more money
That's the
than
reason why I don't carry cash anymore.
I have more
Because
money than a
cash,
lot of
I can't
you pick
file a claim
Mishas.
against you. Right? I can't put a police report on you niggly bears.
I
So
have
now
more
I have
money
credit.
than a
So
lot
when
of you
you
pick
steal
Mishas.
my credit card number, I am placing fraud charges on your black
My
ass, sir.
credit score is 720. I have more
And that's
like
supposed to be
don't do
good.
that. Yeah, and I have more money than you. So no, I do not care about
Oh,
all
we
that.
know that's not true. But go ahead with your little
Oh,
statement,
oh, oh,
sir.
oh no, no, that's very true.
I don't know why black men love to say they got more money than me. That is so hilarious. But
Yeah, cause
continue.
I can count cash right now. But
I
I'm
don't
just
have
saying like
cash. My money is in the bank. My money
okay,
is in
overstood,
stocks. My money is
overstood,
in CDs.
overstood,
My money is in
overstood.
Bitcoin,
Okay,
sir.
overstood,
So yeah, that just tells me you ain't
overstood.
got a lot of money if you can count it and it's cash.
Uh
What's that?
huh.
About $2,000 or $3,000 you think you got?
Uh. Overstood.
Go ahead, Codeine. Speak up a little bit with your chest. When Codine's done speaking, then I'm gonna replay. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, there you go.
No, I'm
I'm
right
gonna
here.
replay the video.
No, I'm just saying like shit. I personally, I'm gonna be real with you. I like dating women that have a business mind state. I don't date women that
Can you speak to the
can go
topic, Codeine?
what dating what
Yes,
your shit.
yes, or dating your experience dating white women.
Well, shit, I never had a bad experience dating a white woman. I never had a
Was it
bad experience
empowering
dating.
for you?
But she had a bad experience.
No, she didn't. Cause you want me to tell you something? I made a lot of money. Never had a bad experience. No woman that
Scammer.
ever dated me had a bad. No, I'm
I
not a
can tell
scammer.
by them shoes in your PTR that you a scammer. Go ahead.
I'm not a scammer. Them Da Vinci too. Um, I I do not scam at all. I'm just a
Codeine, speak to the topic.
yeah, but I'm trying to, and you have your pick
Just,
Mishas
just
going platinum.
focus,
Girl, he
focus.
don't know how to read. He don't know how to
Girl, I
read. I'm
read
not
better than
trying to be
you.
picked by
I went to
you.
Rice University. Yeah,
Focus,
you.
focus, Codeine. If you let a
Yeah,
woman, a beautiful woman, distract you
she is
from
beautiful. I'm not
getting
gonna
your
cap.
point
You is
across,
beautiful, but
then
I hate.
you
I
are
don't argue
weak.
with women.
Okay,
That's
well, just focus. Go ahead, speak
all
to the
right.
topic.
But no, I did date. I date a white woman, and I don't. I feel like it's empower. You should feel empowered dating any type of woman. I feel like why should you feel if it's a white woman or Asian woman anything? That's just how I feel. But
Okay, thank you, Codeine.
all right,
Can I
mama.
finish what I was
Go ahead,
saying
my
though?
boy cousin.
Go ahead, cousin, and then I'm gonna
All
replay the
right,
video.
so I want to finish. Okay, so yeah, I was listening to a certain type of music to let my inner child out, just like y'all do on this app. Y'all are letting out y'all's inner child because when you go to corporate America, you can't show who you are. I make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if y'all read my bio, but I let that explain for
Oh
itself.
my God.
Anyways,
You make a lot of money,
I
so
write.
why haven't you bought a Niggly Bear shirt yet for me?
Um, I click the link. It's
Send
whatever.
London a cash
Okay,
app.
Anyways,
continue.
Send London a cash app.
Yeah, my birthday's on
no,
Monday, so
my
I
girl,
put my cash
my
app in the
beautiful
chat.
black queen told me that I could not send any other females cash
Child,
apps.
send him
She
to the
told me
goo.
that.
30 seconds. Wrap up your
So yeah,
point.
I don't know. I didn't have a point
Okay.
actually.
All right. I'm gonna replay the video. Thank y'all for being here. Just to reset the room, I found a video by a young lady, a black young lady, beautiful girl. It says black women. The title of the video says "Black woman says dating white men is empowering for this reason," but her video is like a little in opposition to that. So I'm gonna replay it and then we'll get back into the discussion. So let me see here. Bear with me, because y'all know I'm not really that technical. Okay, here we go.
One of the great things about the internet is its ability to expose many of those thoughts, beliefs, and ideas that have gone under the radar for years, maybe even decades. It puts it all on public display for the entire world to grapple with. In the age of anonymity, where people can go online and hide their face in their name and say whatever they want without fear of punishment, that gives people a boldness to speak from their heart, to speak what they really feel without fear of any retribution. Because of that component of the internet, we are now seeing a side of the human psychology and, quite frankly, a side of humanity that has always been there, but now we're faced to grapple with. We see the same thing in the Black community when there are people who reveal things, who confess things that, quite frankly, aren't new and have always been there, but have never fully been addressed because no one's been willing to call it out. And that is actually what I appreciate about this tweet that I want to share with you, right? It's a lovely Black woman who was just honest, about how she feels. And I want to read it to you. It says, "I used to be afraid to admit this as a Black person, but not anymore. When I see a Black man date a white woman, it gives weak in my head because I start to question, can you handle a Black woman? But when I see a Black woman date a white man, it gives women's empowerment." Very simple. She didn't say a lot, but she reveals so much. Now, a couple of things I want to tease out here. What she said is nothing new, even if you look at the tweet, right? You look at the response here. I think it's Bean Man who reposted it. It says, "Are we surprised at this point? No, we're not." She's just saying, finally, what we have all known to be true for a very, 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 very long time. We saw Candace Owens give a similar explanation as to why she decided to date Mariel. Not because she just happened to fall in love with the guy, not just because maybe, it was just a proximity thing, whatever. It's like, oh no, because he had a higher IQ. Oh, because he had a better position, a better standing. He was of a better stock, right? Going back to this idea that marrying white is you leveling up. It is you improving yourself. It is you divesting out of a bad community to invest into that which is good and powerful and meaningful. These ideas are nothing new. We've seen this in the divestor community, right? I've seen this in internet clips. Y'all, we've all seen this before. This is, like I said, wash, rinse, repeat. While people want to act like this is some surprising new phenomenon that's only happened within the last couple of decades, the reality is this mindset has been in existence for hundreds of years. In the book, The Dating Divide, the authors give different theories as to why it appears that minority women, including Black women, show a preference for white men. And one of the theories is that they do it as an assimilation tactic, right? This belief that in marrying white and marrying into the dominant class, they will essentially be able to receive perhaps, more access to resources, a better social standing, and ultimately a more comfortable life, right? So this is one of the theories that the dating divide gives as to why they consistently see minority women all have this preference for white men. And, going with that theory real quick, we have actual historical evidence to further reiterate this point. Going all the way back to slavery, we see that there is a history of African women and even Black women within the United States who slept with white men, and some of them who even married white men, as a way to, quote unquote, be empowered and level up and gain resources at the expense of their own people. Take, for example, slave owner Fenda Lawrence. She was an African woman who married a European man and created mixed mulatto kids who ended up being integral in slave trading. Fenda Lawrence was so popular as a slave owner, she actually went to the United States of America and toured the plantations in the United States of America as a free Black woman. She toured the plantations, and to my understanding, she actually lived there for some time, and she partnered with white men, and even had white men vouch for her on her behalf while she was living in a time of slavery in America, so that she herself would not get caught up. This is a Black woman, right, partnering with white men in a society to be empowered, to be protected, to gain the resources of the trade at that time, which happened to be Black bodies, right? To level up. So history shows us that there's always been a mindset of women who believe that in partnering with white men and partnering with white society, they can themselves level up, i.e., gain more resources, i.e., get more access to money, more access to funds, even if it is at the expense of their own people. This mindset has been here for a couple of hundreds of years. Professor Joseph E. Holloway, who's authored many books, professor and author Joseph E. Holloway also shows that about 70% of the Black slave owners in the United States of America, about 70% of them were light-skinned mixed mulatto women who had a Black mother and a white father. And what that means is that the majority of those Black people who, quote unquote, did own slaves inherited those slaves from their white slave owning fathers. Right. So again, I want to paint a picture to you that while we see these things continuing today, these viral tweets, the divestiture moment, the divestiture movement, the swirl movement, the level up movement, hypergamy, whatever, we kind of see all these ideas repackaged and remarketed. They are coming from the same root. Like I said, this mindset has been going on for hundreds of years. It just reinforces itself. It reinvents itself in these different movements. It tries to represent itself as something fresh and new, but it's not. And hear me. I don't think the nature of dating out means that you are necessarily trying to do something egregious to your own people. But what I am saying, to associate whiteness with empowerment as a Black woman is nothing new. These different movements that we see happening online in the social media space, and all these viral clips, and oh my gosh, she said this, he did this. If you know even just an ounce in history, you would understand that these things aren't new. But the reason that they can continue, and the reason Black women can go online and say these outlandish things, but think it's like new, or think it's empowering, or think it's like a new, never seen before phenomenon, is because there's a misunderstanding of history. And because there has not been a willingness to scrutinize Black women with the same level Black men have been scrutinized. In my opinion, I think we feel really comfortable as Black people looking at the transgressions of Black men, where they failed, where they didn't do A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. We feel very comfortable doing that and then holding them to task, right? Basically telling them all the things that they need to be doing. And I'm not necessarily opposed to that. But that same level of scrutiny has not been given to Black women. The reason I believe Black women in particular can go online and say things that, if the roles were reversed, would be considered cooning, would be considered self-hating, would be considered you being an Uncle Tom. The reason Black women can go online and say that and get little to no pushback is because there has not been the same level of scrutiny placed on Black women as there has been on Black men when it comes to having a cultural understanding. I believe if Black people, Black men and Black women, understood not only what they were saying, but understood the ramifications of what they were saying, and understood the history associated with interracial relationships, they would be less inclined to pedestalize it. Again, I'm not saying that it's wrong if you decide to date and marry out. But if you're a Black woman and you understand that the relationship between white men and Black women many times resulted in enslavement and the slavery of your people, if you understood that that was a direct link, right, that many of the slave traders were the results of Black African women who collaborated with European men to create a mulatto slave trading class. If you knew that relationship was integral to the slavery, and that without it, slavery would not have been nearly as successful, you might be less inclined to pedestalize it. You might just see it as any other relationship. But unfortunately, because these women really don't know history, and then secondly, because this relationship and the connection between Black women and white men, what it meant historically, right? Some of the different issues that arose from it historically, and the way that it was used to terrorize their people historically, because that has never ever really been addressed. These things can continue. These things can continue. These ideas and these beliefs can remain without any pushback. And quite frankly, I think that's dangerous. Because what she's saying, in my opinion, is not coming from a true place. It's coming from a place of narrative. It's coming from a place of miseducation. It's coming from a place of misunderstanding. It's not coming from a true place. Because now, when you're explaining black and white, you're explaining it from a social political standpoint. You're not saying, oh, this is a loving man, that's a loving man. You're saying whiteness means this, blackness means that. This is essentially what she's alluding to. So I just wanted to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, these ideas and concepts are nothing new. They have been around for hundreds of years. We just haven't always had a chance to catch these beliefs or capture these beliefs in real time. But now we do, and the great thing about it is because we do, we can actually address it for what it is, address it straight on. And I would encourage you, ladies, the next time you are tempted to try to pedestalize a relationship, especially in a racial relationship, remember how it started. Remember what that meant for you and your people. I'm not saying that you can't have an interracial relationship, but I want you to recognize that historically, those relationships were not always good. In fact, those relationships were actually integral and key to the enslavement of your ancestors. So let's not get ahead and let's not pedestalize something. Just take the relationship for what it is. And also, let's try to be consistent. Let's not give ourselves a pass and at the same time judge men for doing the same thing. I don't think that's fair. Anyways, guys, that's what I think. What do you?
Okay, so that's the video again, and just listening to it a second time, I think kind of makes stuff sit a little bit better and register a little bit better. But I feel like nominating this chick for Pick Misha of the Week because I don't even know her. It's giving really, really strange and really weird. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like to me that she's saying because in her narration of how slavery occurred, that black women or white men purposely had children with black women to push slavery forward or to be successful at slavery because they were the slave owners, the mulatto kids that came from them. And that's why we shouldn't date out now in 2024. Because I guess black women dating white men and having mulatto children now is a modern day form of slavery. I'm lost.
What? I'm confused. Like, I mean, did I produce three biracial children so they could be slaves on the plantation?
Slave
Is that
owners.
what I did?
They were. She said that they were supposed to be the slave owners.
Oh, they would be slave owners.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that
Okay.
managed the I guess the new crop of slaves that were there, whatever. So you know how the black men on this app, they say that the white man's just using you. He gave y'all welfare and WIC and this, that, and the third. He's using you to keep us down and da 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 da. I think that's kind of like what she's kind of trying to say. Like, it's nothing new. Like, it started back in slavery. They were using black women to keep the rest of the black race down, and that if they hadn't done that, then slavery wouldn't have been able to thrive the way that it did. And so that's, I think, kind of like the modern or the modern day version of that is, I guess, us dating white men or having access to stuff, or the white man government using us for whatever the case may. I don't know. It's all over the place. And then the other thing was her saying that we are dating white men as black women, and we're sacrificing. What did she say? That we're sacrifice at the sacrifice of our own people. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah,
What
no,
is
that's
happening?
weird because black women have a tendency, and I know because I was married to somebody white for 20 years. Like, we're very active in, like, we are the keepers of the culture and traditions. No, I did not, share the negative part of our culture and traditions with my children. But I was, they definitely knew where they came from. They didn't have this idea that they are superior. I'll be damned if my biracial kids, particularly my daughters, um, have an idea that they are set above me because they are mixed with white and black. That was my main goal. Like, absolutely not. I will not expose my children and my family, the colorist section of it, to elevate them. So there were things that I kept from them, but they definitely know, where they came from. We did a whole DNA test and everything. But the idea that she says, well, keep dating, just know what it is. But I'm just wondering, like, what do you mean, see it for what it is? Can we just be like real for a second? Like, dating, again, going back to the idea, well, we've already established that we're not just dating white men just because they're white. We're not saying any white man will do. Okay. um if you're going to date out, it's because you have a certain level of standards. Usually, there's a certain level of standards that you have, and you're not going to limit yourself to the community that you come from, because your standards won't allow for you to perhaps have the choices to do that. So you expand it, and what is wrong with that? Like, if I want to be with somebody who is successful, who has a certain level of power in the patriarchy, who makes a certain amount of money, like, what is abnormal about that as a woman? Like, what's weird about that? It's only weird for black women because we've been so conditioned to believe that that is wrong. It's only recently that we've kind of clumsily gotten into the whole soft life hypergamy conversation. I'm not going to go into that, but we only recently started having these conversations. Best believe that our mothers and grandmothers weren't having these conversations. They didn't have the access to other races of men. So they had to accept what they could get within the community that they came from. It's a different, it's a different era. It's 2024. You can date anybody you want to. And I think that the remnants of, again, I'll just say again, reinforcing it, of just saying, well, remember what what white people did 200 years ago. So if you're gonna date, just know what it is. And so what is it? So, I'm not dating somebody who's 200 years old. I'm I'm not doing that. So how does this apply to me today? This is just the same old story, the same old propaganda con to keep black women second guessing about dating outside of the race. It's just so typical. I've heard it so many different times in so many different ways since 2020 when I came on the scene. This ain't new to me.
Yeah, I think that, you know, them saying like, just keep this in the back of your mind, just remember this or think about this, as if it's gonna make me be like, you know what, you're right, let me stop doing this when it's benefiting me, when I'm having a good time, I'm having great experiences, I'm, living a good life. Like, I don't understand, like, last time I checked, the more people interracially date, and not just black women and white men or vice versa, the more that people interracially date, then, the population is going to become, more mixed and less divided as far as like skin tone and race and stuff like that. So if that is the case, if we're mixing at a much larger rate than we used to in the past, whether it be black women and white men or so forth, how are we going to be enslaved that way? Because it's just going to be a bunch of quote unquote mixed people running around. So
London, the best thing that has happened in this country for race relations, aside from the civil rights movement, is um, is people race mixing. There are not the concrete lines that happened before. We could not, for example, there's just too many people who are mixed that would have to choose. Like, what are you going to do? Because they always say, what you going to do when the race war comes? You know what's not going to happen on the race war? My kid's dad joining the white side. That's what's not going to happen. And every other white man who has a family, and children and a wife with somebody who's not black. It doesn't even have to be a black woman. It could be a Hispanic woman, an Asian woman. That's what's not going to happen. It's too complicated. The lines are blurred. They're going to have to find something else, some other war that's going to separate us. But do you know how complicated a race war would be in 2024? Like, there's just too many of it's too complicated. They're not going to, there are millions of biracial people now, and then you have to think about these are these are these white people's grandchildren, their nieces and nephews. Listen. There's just too many now. Like, you're gonna have to find something else to fight over. We got plenty, but a race war is less likely to happen the more people mix and and we go and marry and create children.
Yeah, they're always coming up with these weird, like hypothetical situations, or what you gonna do in a race war? What you gonna do if this happens or this happens or whatever the case may be? I mean, the closest we've come to a race war, in my opinion, recently was like maybe that whole George Floyd thing. We was all locked down in the pandemic, and a lot of people wasn't even really, messing with that movement, the whole Black Lives Matter and all that thing, which is a topic for another
But
day.
London, that's a great example, because in the Black Lives Matter movement, I saw so many white people I couldn't even tell you. Like, I live in Temecula. It's a very white area, it's Trump town, and they had a Black Lives Matter rally, and there was nothing but white people there. Again, lines are blurred here. This new generation, Gen Z, they don't even care about race in the same way. They really don't. Like, it's not a thing. I think that we as Black people are holding on to this. Some of us are holding on to this so badly, the grip so badly. But the fact of the matter is that our kids don't really care like that. They don't.
I'm glad they don't care, because that would be, going backwards and definitely like regressing and just moving back to a place that we definitely don't need to be. And I definitely don't want to be. I was not born in that time. And I don't want to experience it, quite frankly. And I just don't I just don't understand what we're supposed to gain from this video. Like you said, that hasn't already been said, number one. And then number two is just like, I am my own person. I'm an individual. Like, yes, I'm Black. I get that. I'm Black. I was born that way. My parents are Black. I'm Black. But that doesn't mean that I have to sacrifice me as an individual, what I believe or what I think, or the choices and the things that I want for my life, just because of that. Like, again, we already know, like, the Black community, hasn't done a lot for Black women. They've done a lot of things to harm us, as a collective, and that's part of the reason why we are looking elsewhere. Not for everybody, but for some of us, you know what I'm saying? So I just think that if they're, or if she, the young lady who created the video, and people like her, they're trying to, you know, use this as a tactic to bring us back to, or to stop us from dating out. um it's just, it's not gonna work. Like, can we just stop with the foolishness already? Like, stop it. Like, we know slavery existed. We know, about welfare. We know about child support. Like, we know about all these things, and even with knowing all of that, we don't care. We're still gonna do what we want to do. Like, I feel like, I don't know. It's just so strange to me. Like, they just keep coming up with the same type of like argument over and over again. And then I feel like in that video where she was like, at the expense of your own people, I don't think it's at the expense of my own people. I think she really meant to say at the expense of black men, because they're the only ones who are complaining about us dating out, and of course, like the pygmishas that grovel at their feet. Um, so if she would have replaced that part at the expense of our people, with the expense of black men, then I could understand. But like, no, it's not at the expense of other black women, because you know everybody's doing what they want to do. It's 2024. It's not the fucking 1800s. It's not even 1960, to be quite frankly. So it's just really strange to me. But that when I came across that video, I thought it was going to be one of us, speaking about how dating white men is empowering and stuff like that. And when I listened to the video, I should have listened to it before I started doing, but I had already started it. And I'm listening to the video, I'm like, wait. So she definitely clickbaited me with that fucking title. It's like, oh yes, dating white men is empowering. Let me press play on that. And it was a whole fucking, I don't know, a fuck fest, for lack of a better phrase. Um, Dave, you keep coming in and out. Did you have something you want to say, Dave? Are you a real white man, or are you just sitting up here stage squatting? Okay. Corporate, did you have something you want to say, babe? I just don't want to like keep talking without giving y'all the opportunity to speak. And the floor is open, ladies. If y'all want to raise y'all hand, please do. Like old clubhouse days.
We don't
Raise your
care
hand.
if y'all divest.
Oh, you don't care?
No,
So why are you here then?
to make it
You must
clear.
care a little bit. Hmm?
I had to make it clear because you said it earlier.
Oh, you had to make it clear? Oh, okay. Loud and clear. Go ahead,
Hey
corporate.
guys. So I wanted to say I just wish that more women do date out because we're kind of limiting our experiences and limiting our dating pool when we just date black men only. We're actually desired by all men, and I think that we should, explore those options because a lot of our options can be very limited, waiting for men to get their shit together. We always have these these I guess these conversations with the 50-50 and just little petty conversations about submission and all this other crazy stuff, or men being intimidated by a woman's accolades. I just think we should go where we're desired, and stop being so race loyal, because you never know. You may actually vibe with someone else that is from another ethnicity that you wouldn't necessarily um, normally date, but you may just be limiting your dating pool.
I think energy brings energy.
And what does that have to do with anything else?
Has to do with what it has to do with is that we have such a deteriorated mindset of what the black man should be, and I'm a little older, so it may not be the form that I've traveled a lot in my life, and been to Europe, been to Australia, and what the experiences that I've had is that you see that people are people, and when we say white or black or purple or green, it's not. It's about energy and it's about commonality. And a lot of times people they think, oh, a black man may not be able to reach this level, or a black woman may not. It's just about your experiences in life and the way that you was raised and what you're trying to supersede from, what you're trying to transcend yourself from. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be like my cousin. I don't want to be like my mom's. You want to be something different. So when people have that energy where they can go forward and be on that same level with each other, that's where things fall into play. And it's just my vibe. I see I see a lot of situations where couples are, whether they be black or white. My sons, they have one of my sons has a white, white wife, and my nephews. And so what I see is that everybody's culture, sometimes it doesn't blend. So when your culture doesn't blend, that's where things get, convoluted, so to say. But it's just about energy. That's the way I see life. I see life from what do you bring to the table and what does that other person bring to the table. And if y'all have that same vibe, then everything could kind of work. That's just my vision on that that date. I don't think we should label it, but that's what we do. And then That's when things get kind of crazy when people don't, and things don't work out, or you see a white sister, you see a sister with a black man, and vice versa, and it gets a little silly sometimes. But people are just people. You know, you vibe with who you vibe with. That's the way I see it.
Okay. Is it Mr. Baldhead? Baldhead, is that what we're calling today?
Boyhead chef. I'm
Um,
the boyhead chef. I just deflate putting all that. I'm a chef.
oh, okay. The bald headed chef. Got it. Okay. So thank you. Welcome to the stage and thank you for participating in the conversation. So
No doubt.
if you don't mind, I'm just gonna ask a couple questions to you, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine.
That's
So this
anything you want.
Okay, so you mentioned a lot of interesting things. I could barely keep up, but you said something about not putting labels on things. We live in a world full of labels, so I think it's going to be really hard to get around that. Are you married to a black woman?
I am. I am.
You are? Okay, awesome.
Yes. 38 years.
For how many years?
38 years.
38 years. Oh, that's a long time. Okay.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Been married since I was 21.
Oh, okay. So what makes well, let me see how I can phrase it, because we don't see a lot of black women, black men married these days in 2024. So you say you've
Society
been.
has social media society. Unfortunately, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I've been down a lot of paths. I'm just gonna be keep it 1,000 with you. I've been in 3 wars. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've been a cop for many years of my life. So you see things from different levels, and when you see things from different levels, you have a different perspective when you come home. I've been a lot of places, like I said, with the military. Been a lot of places traveling, being a chef. I do personal security, so I deal with a lot of people from different levels, and I deal with
Back up from the
white,
mic a
black.
little bit.
Say again.
Just back up from the mic a little bit.
Okay, so can
Yeah.
you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's just your
Okay, I'm
words are
sorry.
high.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, when you see different perspectives, you have a different vision. And social media plays such a big role on how we visualize things. I was traveling last week and I was watching this balloon thing where the guys or the women come out and they pop in your balloon. You can't, how do you visualize? How do you speak to somebody without when you just see them? And that's something that the masses are doing now by just looking at somebody by what he has on or what she has on. That's nothing. That's just clothes. That the clothes doesn't make a person. The person makes the clothes. And so this is just the world we live in. We live in such a um unimaginary world sometimes. Back in the day when you talked on the phone, you may not have met a person and you're just talking to them and you're trying to vibe with them. But it's like it's just hard. It's very hard. I don't know what to tell y'all. It's not easy trying to find. I have a lot of younger friends who are not married, and it's very difficult for them to find people that are of like minds without having such a jaded opinion of a person. So it's not easy. Definitely not.
Okay, thank you for that. My question was actually going to go a bit in a different route for what you mentioned. So, you said you've been married for over 30 some years or whatever, which, shout out to y'all. So, are you legally married? Because there's a lot of men on here that say they married, but they really just be like
What do
keeping
you
it
mean
a.
legally? What do you mean by that?
Oh,
Do you
okay.
have a wedding license?
Oh
Are
yeah, yeah,
are you legally married through the state?
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. Yes, yes, yes. I have 2 sons. Yes, I have 3 grandkids. Yes,
Okay.
did she
absolutely.
that don't
Yes.
got nothing to do with the license. Did she marry
Yeah.
you while you were in or out of jail?
I was never in jail. Never been
All
in
right,
jail.
thank you. Just checking.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason we asked is because a lot
I've
of
been-
men like to.
Put a lot of people in jail, but never been in jail. Honestly.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So
Yeah.
the reason I was asking if you were legally married, because a lot of men like to come in these types of spaces and, say they're married, and then come to find out they're not. They have some type of like spiritual black woman harem going on or something. I don't know. It's really
No, no,
weird.
no. I can't deal with a lot of black women, so I can only deal barely with my queen. So I
Talk
no,
about it.
no, no, no. I'm
Oh,
one. I'm
so
just
you're saying that
yeah.
you're married to your black wife, but you cheat with other races?
No, I don't cheat at all. I don't cheat at all. But I'm saying I can barely deal with my wife, so I don't have the energy to deal with anybody else's. See, when you deal with people, you deal with spirits, you deal with vibes. So I don't have the energy to deal with all that. No, I don't. No, I'm not a cheating person. Have I cheated on my wife? Yes. I'm not gonna lie. Am I cheating? I haven't cheated on
Oh.
my wife. I'm a straight up person. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It is what it is. It's to walk. There's no person that walks this world out here without having some uneven ground to walk on. So it's just what it is. Um, but it is it's not it is not my purpose to have a whole lot of people in my spirit, in my soul, in my cipher. Honestly.
So you said you have children. So how would you feel? Because we also want to get back to the title of the room. Is dating white men empowering for Black women? So, how would you feel if your daughter dated another race or a white man?
Well, I don't have a daughter, but if I had a daughter, I have two sons. If I had a daughter, that's her choice. I have nieces and nephews; those are their choices. I can only say be aware of whatever you need to be aware of. I don't have any. I have a lot of. I have a lot of good friends that are both races, to be honest. So I don't. I don't. I'm not judging on that. Now you go down south or certain places in the world, I'm not gonna say anywhere in the world, and you find somebody that doesn't like us or doesn't want to vibe with us, then that's another story. Then I'll deal with that in my own perspective. But if you find love and this person is giving you love and you're giving them love and it's on equal grounds, I have no beef with that.
Okay, that's what's up. I think we might have found the one Black man unicorn on Clubhouse. You
No, you
guys,
haven't
it's the
found him,
bald headed
London,
chef.
because in that photo he don't got on his wedding ring, so you ain't found him, girl.
Oh,
Keep
why would
going.
I? Why, I'm gonna be honest with you. Why would I have to wear my wedding ring? If you ask me if I'm married, I'm gonna tell you. I don't have to wear a wedding ring to signify who I am.
Go lay down, sir. It's your bedtime.
Excuse me? Huh?
Wow.
Just a
You talk
ring.
about wow, you
Yeah.
the one
Why
who
do I
wear a
got to
ring.
wear a ring to signify who I am?
Okay, so where were you in that picture? You just forgot it on the kitchen sink, or what happened?
Nah, I don't wear. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't wear my ring. I don't have to wear my ring.
Oh, so you got
That
tattoos.
was I went.
He's
That's
cheated
to
and
be
he
honest.
doesn't have to wear his ring. That don't
Nah, why?
excuse.
Well, if anybody, if I'm trying to cheat, I would just tell a person I'm married. I don't have to. I don't have to. I don't have to lie to them.
But you're lying
There's
to
women.
your
I've
wife.
met a lot of women that would deal with married
You're
men.
lying to your wife.
I'm not lying to my wife. Not at all. Why would I be? How am I lying to my wife? I don't have to wear my ring. I don't have to wear my ring. I'm just being straight up with you.
So how would you feel if your wife didn't wear her ring? Is it the
That,
same
that, that
feeling?
that's her choice. That's her choice. She knows where she lives,
I don't think she
Is
and I
should
she
know where I
allowed
live.
to
secret.
cheat on you sometimes since you cheated on her?
Has my wife? Are you asking me? Has my wife cheated on me? My wife has cheated on me,
Oh
but
well
that's not.
damn, y'all just
That's
toxic.
hey, that's life.
What is that beeping noise?
Is that your
It sounds like he got
Oh.
on
burner?
Tim's and got a pager, girl. A pager.
That's not a
Wow,
pager.
that was a good one. I like that.
Cousin, were you trying to say something to your fellow friend here? Cousin?
Hey, what's up, ball head? Let me
Yeah, cousin
go
didn't
ahead and
Peace
grow
and
up with a
say
blessings, bro.
daddy,
Peace and
so he's
blessings.
looking for a father figure. Go ahead and talk to him, cousin.
I'm looking for. Oh no, my dad's an immigrant, so he definitely saved in my life. Uh, Daphne. But no, ball head.
It's
My
Let
dad
Daphne.
me
is a
go.
black American and he stayed in my
No, I
life
could.
too. But go ahead. I digress.
Oh, I love that for you,
Your dad
Pocahontas.
didn't teach you to tuck in that stomach. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
shorty.
can't hear your one-liners over this man's beeper. Man, fucking, it ain't not fun.
Oh my god. Okay, okay. Y'all sure know how to turn a serious room into a troll space, but I love it. I'm here for it. Um, so I think dating white men is empowering for Black women. For all of the reasons that lady in the video said that it wasn't. Uh, and so much more. I think we be having a ball. It's great times. It's fun. And shout out to Ballhead. He don't wear his wedding ring and he got a pager. So I think we should put him on Niggly Bear of the Week. What do y'all think? I think we should nominate him too.
Absolutely. I think he's the godfather of niggly bears.
I'm screaming. Cash is up here, but she can't speak. She says she's just kicking it, but she got her I don't dox, I box shirt that she coined. So make sure y'all hit the link that I put in the chat earlier or join the Telegram at the top. All the links are pinned to the top of the Telegram to get one of Cash's shirts as well. Good, clean, clean, clean
Beauty Cash May. Yeah, so Kenchi, did you have any other thoughts, or you just wanted to tell us that you don't care if we date white men?
Yeah, I don't care. That's about it. Just cooling.
That profile picture looked like he date white men too.
Do you date white men, Kenchi?
Yeah, and I scam them for money.
Oh, are you a bottom or a top?
Top shotter.
Period. Period. What do y'all think Baldhead went to go do? He went to answer that pager. I think it was one of his side chicks calling.
I think he buy pussy. I don't think he got a side chick.
Lord have mercy. Is there any other men that want to come up and get treated real quick? While we at it. Let me see. I'm scrolling the audience.
What happened to
Oh,
the
I don't
white
see any.
man
Aw.
Dave? Was he really white?
I've never heard that man speak. I think that's a troll.
Mm.
I think he just comes in all the white man rooms and sits on the stage for whatever reason. I don't know. It's a weirdo. I know you listening, Cash. Before you got here, I just played a clip. It's like a 12-minute video from YouTube. There's a young lady. I don't know if that's her middle name or her last name, Sade. She did a video basically saying that black women dating white men is not empowering because the white slave masters would sleep with the black women slaves to create mulatto children who would then become the new slave masters, and that's how they got slavery to be so successful, and that we need to keep that in mind when we date out, because I guess we could possibly somehow be perpetuating slavery. I don't know. It was kind of strange, but I just wanted to do a room on it so people could share their thoughts and everything like that. Looks like y'all are banging it out in the chat. Um, I'm sorry, I haven't been reading it as much. Some of y'all got some paragraphs in there. Sorry, I'm not like I